Actually, her hair wasn't actually being straightened. It was being used, a product was being used called Jerry Curl, which was another straightening process, but it didn't straighten completely straight. It straightened your hair to the point that you had a uniform curl. And her hair had been, the Jerry Curl solution had been left on it too long. And it started to take her hair out, started to break her hair off. When I first came to Oprah, Dory Wilson, who was a public relations person and my dear friend, brought her to me because her hair was a complete mess. At the time, I had a new beauty salon, and I was like, I don't really have time for a mess. I've got other things to do, but they convinced me to help her. And by help her, I mean, it meant that I took her under my wing, and it was back to the basic principles of Madam C.J. Walker, which is maintaining healthy hair. You can't have hair that, as Oprah used to call hers, bouncing and behaving. You can't have bouncing and behaving hair unless you've properly taken care of it. And unfortunately, most of us were not taught as children to take care of our hair in the proper way. So what it meant was that I would do Oprah's hair on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday in the salon. So on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, she'd look terrific. On Tuesday and Thursday, she looked like hell because she couldn't even comb her. She literally couldn't comb her own hair. She had fabulous hair, but she didn't know it. She would sit in my salon and look at other women and say, will I ever have hair like this woman? Will my hair ever be like this? And I said, well, we'll have to see what we get. As it turned out, Oprah has probably some of the most fabulous hair in the world, but we had to get beyond all of the broken hair.
So what constitutes healthy hair?
Constitutes healthy hair is a regular maintenance program with shampoos, conditioners, ointments, but it's a conscious effort. It has to be a deliberate effort. You have to say, hey, listen, I'm going to take care of my hair like I take care of my skin or like I take care of my teeth. Most people don't look at their hair in that general perspective. The at-home application has a little less of some of the active ingredients because, again, as I said, they're very, very strong. It was really discouraged women relaxing their own hair. But of course, like everything else, particularly our black women are like, hey, listen, if somebody else can do it, I can do it. I can do my own. And subsequently, many women did do their own, but many of them did damage to themselves, but many others did a terrific job. I mean, they did as good a job as they might have had done in a salon. And there were some women in the 60s, because a lot of salons broke a lot of hair, there were a lot of women in the 60s who thought, you know what? If my hair is going to break off, I'd just as soon I break it off as pay somebody else and still have it broken, and I still have to buy a hairpiece or get a wig in order to look the way I want to look. Again, the bottom line is maintenance, maintenance, maintenance. It doesn't matter if you're braiding your hair, if you're covering it up with a wig, if you're wearing a hairpiece, if you've got an extension, if you're wearing clip-ons, you still have to maintain your own hair and the integrity and the dignity of your own hair. And that's something that some people just totally let go. I mean, I've seen women put weaves on top of hair that is absolutely fabulous, and within 6 months to a year, their own hair is ruined because they didn't take care of it because all they were concerned about was the hair in the weave. So again, maintenance, maintenance, maintenance.
One of the things that we found out in doing this hair project is that what age is the appropriate age? We've heard stories where 6-year-olds.
See, this is an issue that I have, and I've always had it since I was a stylist. We don't teach children to not like something about themselves physically. You have to be careful what you tell children about themselves because it lasts a lifetime. I personally don't believe that any child under the age of 12 should be in a beauty salon having anything done other than their hair washed and either blown dry or hot combed. Because once you start down that road, there's no turning back. So if you take a 6-year-old in and you let her put a blonde streak in her hair, you can be sure that next year it's going to be purple, and the year after that, who knows what it's going to be. There are very few people that have ever gone into a beauty salon and had something done to them professionally who said, you know what, I didn't like this, I'm never going to go there again. It just doesn't happen that way. Well, it used to be in the 60s that we had a rule, and that rule was that you didn't perm colored hair. But of course, as I said, black women are very discriminating and they want what they want. So of course, we had to figure out a way that we could color hair and relax hair. Subsequently, what most people did was they colored in one procedure, and then weeks later, they would color in another procedure. Fortunately today, because the hair care companies in the black community have come up with increased protections in all of these products, it's possible now to relax your hair and color your hair at the same time. As a matter of fact, if you use a keratin treatment to straighten your hair, keratin treatments actually leave your hair in better condition than it was before you had the keratin treatment, because hair itself is keratin. So if you have damaged hair and you have a keratin treatment, you could end up with hair in much better shape than it was in before you had the treatment. That can't be said of relaxers. That can't be said of the Brazilian blowout. That can't be said of the Japanese straighteners that use a chemical and a flat iron. People have their preferences about, which product they wanted to use. And for many people, that had to do with their loyalty to a particular company or to a particular brand. But essentially, all relaxers are the same. All straighteners are the same. All keratin products are the same. And the one thing that happens is, and it happens because all of these people in these companies are chemists. So when one chemist comes up with a process that works more effectively, the others jump right on it. I mean, as soon as the product is put on the market, the other chemists get in there, they figure out what it is, and then they make their own brand of the same product. So essentially, it's all the same product. The only thing that I would like to say, and at this point in my career, after 58 years, I would encourage people to embrace what they were born with. This business of, the unfortunate thing is, we live in a society where we are influenced by all of these celebrities, by all of these people who are living these glamorous lifestyles that many of us want to emulate. It takes a great deal of stamina, a great deal of money, a great deal of fortitude, and sometimes a great deal of nerve to pull off what some of these people are pulling off. I mean, in 1982, I worked for a company called Avalon in Chicago, and at the hairdressers convention, I introduced blue hair, orange hair on an Asian woman. Asian hair is the absolute hardest cuticle to break down. That's why you rarely see Asian people coloring their hair. Green hair. I did it as an artistic endeavor. If I had ever thought that it was going to actually become a thing, I would have never done it. When I see people today
Purple hair, pink hair.
with pink hair and purple hair, and hair was never meant to be green. Okay, it's one thing to say, hey, look at me, but find another way to do it. It doesn't work. I can't even imagine some people, you go into a room with them, you want to turn off the light so you don't have to see what's going on their heads sometimes. It's just that, unfortunately, I have a sense of humor that most people don't always agree with, but from my perspective, that's what I see.
So these wild hairstyles with the blues and greens, I can blame you for that.
For example, I was in the gas station the other day, and a young woman was across from me, and her hair was totally green, the color of grass. I mean, emerald.
It was St. Patrick's Day.
I don't care what day it is. It just doesn't work for me.